Esports at its basic level is people playing video games and people watching them. It is like a traditional stick and ball sport where people will play and people will watch. Esports is no different. It's just a native digital sport that started digitally and remains in a digital platform. The most particular interesting thing about esports is the fact that the next generation is actually more interested in it. I have to look no further than my current 11-year-old and 7-year-olds and watch what they're interested in. Recently, this summer, the Olympics were on, and unfortunately, in a sense, they could care less. The Super Bowl was just on, and again, unfortunately, they could have cared less. What was my 11-year-old doing? He was playing Overwatch with his friends, and they were all on headsets, and they were chatting and communing the same way all of us that were watching the Super Bowl were having drinks and eating chips and watching the Super Bowl. They were doing the same thing, but online. You don't have to look very far that esports is going to be on the rise with the next generation. Go-to team right now is storytelling for esports the way we would for traditional sports. Turner, their E-League property, we're currently working with them. They've traveled us to Australia, and they've also recently traveled us to Poland to capture these stories of particular players on this team and their backstory in their hometown. A lot of these players are international, and they found that these particular stories were compelling.
Recently, I did a shoot for Turner Sports that sent me overseas to Poland. We were there for a couple days and, shot some interviews and shot some beautiful B-roll of Warsaw and Poznan. We were there doing a feature on a professional video game player named Neo, and so we interviewed him and his family, and it was just a super blast. We were really only there for, I don't know, maybe 48 hours, but it was an awesome 48 hours.
I love the fact that, currently people look at me like I'm out in space on esports. And I love the fact that Go-To Team will be in a place where people will say 2 years, 3 years from now, when I think it really will hit, that, oh, these guys were in front of it. They were talking about esports before anybody thought about it. In this sport, I see the future here, and I also continue to love and see the future of traditional stick and ball sports. I don't see those going away. I just see that timing in this instance is on our side, and we can jump out in front and say, look, we planted our flag and we were here for esports in the very beginning. And when people are wondering how we got to service esports so much 20 years from now, we can say, well, it's because we were there from the beginning.